Today we are honored to welcome a distinguished author and activist, Mr. Ron Kovic, to the Redondo 25. Thank you.
My first book, I had never written a book before in my life. I had been wounded in Vietnam on January 20th, 1968. Among the many paraplegics and quadriplegics at the Long Beach VA that I knew back in the early 70s, and the wards were filled with paralyzed and paralyzed men, and very few. I'm happy to be one of the survivors who's still alive, and being able to communicate with all of you, and hopefully even greater numbers in our country and hopefully throughout the world, what war was like, what I experienced, why I feel so strongly that we have to find an alternative to violence, an alternative to bombing, to killing, an alternative to war. We have to use our imaginations, our creativity, and we're all in this world together. I just want to preface before I begin by saying that I am deeply committed to finding peaceful, nonviolent solutions. Back then, I was thrown in jail, I think 11, 12 times. I protested against the war for many, many years. I've been speaking out against the war, against wars, and on behalf of peace and an alternative to the use of violence as a way of solving our problems since the very early 70s. I was profoundly affected, of course, by my wounding, by being paralyzed from the mid-chest down. It was shocking. It was difficult to me. I was only 21 years old, and what had happened. But I had a long road to go down. It was difficult. There were many difficult days. Look, I was in an intensive care ward. I had received last rites, the Catholic Church. When I came in wounded to the intensive care ward in Da Nang, I didn't know if I would make it when they put that mask over my face. I didn't know if I would wake up again. All I could do was say a prayer and hope that I would see this world again, this light again. And it's so wonderful. It's such a privilege to be with you today in life, to be here, to still be alive. Born on my country's birthday in 1946, I grew up in the shadow of the Cold War after the great victory of World War II. Both my mother and father had served in the Navy during that war. It was where they were married, and we, their children, were to be called the baby boom.